Hello and welcome everybody. This is our last lesson in chapter 1 of our advanced algebra curriculum. In this lesson, we are solving absolute value equations and inequalities. So big target for the day here is we are going to apply everything we know about solving equations to solving an absolute value equation or an inequality. Specifically, we're going to be doing these three things. You will be able to solve a one or two step absolute value equation. You will be able to solve an or statement absolute value inequality. And you will be able to solve an and statement absolute value inequality. So let's go ahead and talk about what is absolute value. So quick definition is the distance a number is from 0. And this is something that you learned a long time ago, right? That absolute value is the distance that a number is from 0. And in algebra, you even looked at some absolute value equations where, say, you have the absolute value of x is equal to 5. And what you learned in algebra is that when it says the absolute value is equal to 5, we're looking for what numbers, or what number, and I should say what numbers, have a distance of 5 away from 0. Right? That is what that question there is asking us. So what numbers have a distance of 5 away from 0? And if you will recall on the number line, if this is 0, we know that there is one number over here that has a distance of 5 away from 0. That's positive 5. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 away. But there is a second number, if you go the opposite direction, of negative 5. So these are two solutions here. There are two values that have a distance of 5 away from 0. And that is very common of an absolute value equation. Where the variable is inside. Essentially, we can kind of split this up into a positive and negative answer. Notice that what was in the absolute value is now 5 or negative 5, because both of these solutions work. If I plug this in, the absolute value of 5 is 5, so 5 equals 5. And if I plug negative 5 in, the absolute value of negative 5 is 5. So these both check out to be true statements. So absolute value is the distance away from 0. Remember, if we're doing a calculation inside of it, it just means we're taking the positive. If there's a variable inside of it, it's asking us what number or numbers have a distance of 5 away from 0. So what happens if we complicate matters, though? So here we have a one-step absolute value equation. And now notice this one is x minus 5. Absolute value equals 7. And again, the difference here is what exactly is this question asking us? It's asking us what number, when I subtract 5, has a distance of 7 away from 0? What number or numbers, when I subtract 5, has a distance away from 0 of 7? So we could kind of guess and check at those, but there is a process that allows us to do it. So what we're going to do is kind of what we did on the previous slide, where we split it into two. Notice there are two ways that we can split this up that has a distance of 7. I can find the number that is a distance of 7 away, or I can find the number that is a distance of negative 7 away. So notice how I created two equations to solve this one absolute value equation. This one has a distance of positive 7. This one has a distance of negative 7. Both of them have a distance of 7, which means if I solve both equations, I should get the two values that have a distance of negative 7 away. So I have 12 and I have negative 2. Let's just check our work. So 12 minus 5 equals 7. Well, that's the absolute value of 7 equals 7. So 7 equals 7. It works. What about negative 2? Negative 2 minus 5, absolute value, equals 7. Well, this is negative 7 equals 7. And the absolute value of negative 7 is 7. So it works. So we need to find two solutions. We need to find the solution that is positive 7 away, and we need to find the solution that is negative 7 away. Notice how what was in the absolute value did not change. Both of these are x minus 5. It's just what's on the opposite side of the equation, the distance of 7 and the distance of negative 7. Both of those answers we found are the solutions, right? So we need both of them. Let's do one that's a little bit more complex. Absolute value of 5x minus 10 equals 45. So what number, when I multiply by 5 and subtract 10, has a distance away from 0 of 45? That is a lot more difficult to guess and check. So we can split the two into two equations like we did last time. I want to find the number that when I multiply by 5 and subtract by 10 is a positive 45 distance away. And I want to find the number that when I multiply by 5 and subtract 10 is a negative distance away. Solving both of these equations using the same solving skills that we have always used will give us our two solutions. So one is 11. Notice that this other equation, I'm using the exact same steps. It's just that I'm going to have a slight difference in the value because this is negative. So that's 5x equals negative 35, dividing by 5. X equals negative 7. And I have two solutions, and both of these solutions work. Negative 7 and 11. All right, so I'm going to have you take a quick break here. Back on your Canvas, there are a couple of practice questions that I'd like you to do. And then I would like you to click the video under that as soon as those two practice questions are complete. So we will see you in the next video.